All right, this is Committee on Government Operations, Public Safety, Public Service. This is Thursday, January 10th, 2019. We're at 6 p.m. I have Councilor DePiero.
Here.
I have Councilor De La Sola.
Here.
We have 2 members present. We do not have a quorum. As we said,
How shall we proceed, Mr. Clerk?
we're going to have an informal discussion. We'll wait 15 minutes to see if we do get a quorum.
No, we're all set.
And we have Councilor McLaughlin.
Good
We
evening,
have 3
Council.
members. We do have a quorum.
Please stand and salute the flag, folks.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all.
Where we do have Mr. Mareshi here, I'll entertain a motion to take item number 3 first.
Second that?
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion made and second to take item 3 first. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
All
Item
right,
3.
item number 3. This is a resolution up by Council McLaughlin that the Chief Procurement Officer and the parking clerk appear at this meeting to discuss the problems with the parking meters.
Good evening, Mr. Mareshi.
Good evening.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, through you to our invited guest, Mr. Mareshi, good evening.
are you, Michael?
I apologize for my lateness. Mr. Mareshi, we actually had the opportunity to have a conversation in the hallway about 10 days ago after I had put this piece on. So some of the questions that I originally had got answered during that meeting. What I'm looking for, I guess, is just some clarification on better signage is one of the things.
Okay.
People are, because you have to walk to the box to be able to pay for the stick, to get the sticker, but that might be 3 or 4 spots away, especially on the lengths of Broadway.
Correct.
And there's not really a whole lot of signage that shows you where to go to get to the box to be able to do the transaction.
Okay.
And people are getting ticketed, just kind of confused. Obviously, they should know that it's not free parking
Right.
along our business district, so there's some method in place. So that was one of the things that I was looking for, was to see if we could get some better
Yeah,
signage.
and certainly I think, I don't know if it's one particular area, but I do know we have a lot of signage out there. And when we first started this, we made sure that there were signs at the, right above the box. As you could see the arrow pointing down, but we also had some signs put on either ends of sort of the intersections.
Yep.
Pointing towards the, where to pay. I mean, I could certainly talk with the DPW guys and have them do an inventory if there's, if there's missing signs on the end of the intersections not pointing towards it. Certainly we could do that.
One of the spots that was pointed out to me directly was the box right in front of the Pollen Library.
Okay.
The box that's right there on Broadway.
Yep.
Somebody had parked up further, sort of towards School Street intersection there.
Yep.
And they knew that, that's where the box was, but they said if you're from outside the city and you're coming into the city, that's 3 or 4 spots away. You don't necessarily know that that's down the street, and you're going
Right.
to park there to go into Rite Aid or the Everett Bank or Square Deli, or,
Yep.
You're not looking southerly on Broadway to be able to find the box
Okay.
further down the street.
Yeah, so I'll take that away and can work with the DPW guys and make sure that, every area is covered.
That was one of the concerns. And I'm going to just give you 2 other concerns, then I'll open the floor. The height of the boxes themselves, and we talked about this issue. The height of the boxes is making it difficult for some. They're actually kind of too low in some spots. You have to kind of bend over to be able to do the transaction, and some of the seniors are kind of, again, thrown off balance.
Right.
And if you have a cane or, some other device, the height of them, and I don't know if that's ADA compliant, that you have to have it at a certain height or whatever the case might be, but that was brought to my attention actually in the back parking lot behind the Everett Bank Square Deli, the cigar shop there. I was parking there one day, and an elderly gentleman had stopped me, and he had showed me what the situation was, that because of the height of that box. So I'm just wondering if that is ADA compliant. I'm sure it is, and there's nothing we can do about it.
I'm going to assume that it is. Can certainly go back to the company and look at the specs and all, but I'm pretty sure that they are.
Okay, so that was another.
And then, I don't know what else we could do to
Right.
raise those up. I just don't.
No,
wanna-
absolutely. If it's ADA compliant.
Because it's
then-
gonna be, and it's gonna be bolted certain
Sure.
way into the ground, so I don't know. what
Yeah,
we
no,
could do in that.
I kind of agree that it's a trickier situation, but I'm just wondering, to make sure that they are ADA compliant,
Right.
that they are within code and that they are, and I'm sure that they are, but that was
Yeah.
brought to my attention. Some of the other things that you and I had talked about, I'm not gonna go through the whole scope because we've talked about them. Lastly, is just the maintenance of them,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm seeing boxes repeatedly broken,
Yep.
not working properly, and then, you go to a spot like, again, I'm gonna use that parking lot because I was there and I walked around and checked them. There's only one or two in that parking lot, they're not working, what do? You can't park in that lot all day, or you can't park in that lot for 2 or 3 days because there's no other method, there's no
Right.
other option to be able to park there if those boxes aren't working.
Yep.
Now, you're gonna get a ticket for not paying, but you wanna pay, and these boxes are not working.
Right.
It's kind of a catch-22.
So certainly, I think when we first rolled these out about a year ago, we had some challenges in terms of, them being new. I think we have a plan in place. We have a meter guy or a meter maintenance guy that's a skilled laborer now who's maintaining the boxes. He's following a schedule. We have 60 of them in the city currently, so he's hitting 12 a day. So I think we're on top of that now. I checked with constituent services today. I don't believe that we've had a complaint in over 2 months on any of the meters. That doesn't mean he's not out servicing them, so he is servicing them once a week. I know there'd been some questions previously about the printing of the receipt and whether you had to place it on your window. So where we're paying by plate, we don't need that.
Right.
But so what we've done is we ordered stickers and placed them on the machines that said a receipt's not necessary to complete the transaction, nor is it required to be put on your windshield. So
Okay,
I think we're moving in the right direction.
okay.
We're looking at reports on a daily basis out of the treasurer's office. They have access to the back-end software where they're, looking through. There's an alarm report that spits out any issues with particular machines. So I think we're on top of them now.
Okay, no, and that's good to hear, and that was some of the stuff that you and I had talked about in that
Yep.
hallway conversation.
And we're
we had
working
last week.
closely with McKay as well. They have a full dedicated customer service team where if the meter maintenance guy's out at the box and there's a problem that he can't resolve, he can call them directly, so.
Okay, so it's 60 boxes, 12-day rotation.
Yep,
So you're
once a week. Every box
so
is getting hit
yeah,
once a
it's-
week for
right.
collection as
Okay.
well as regular, maintenance, whether the paper's out or,
But
anything
either
else.
whatever, even if it's you're seeing every box within the
Correct.
course of a week.
Absolutely.
You're getting to every box.
Absolutely.
Do we go out and shovel these, Mr. Murphy, after a storm? Are we diligently trying to clean these things to make sure that they're accessible for?
Yeah, I mean, I would-
because all three of us plow snow, right? And you're plowing a parking lot, you're gonna push the snow. If you start to create a mound around this box,
Mm-hmm.
it's now becoming, difficult to be able to get access to it.
And to be honest with you, I don't think since we've had them that we've had a major storm. So, I mean, it's certainly something I can talk to Greg St. Louis about and, talk about what the plan would be around that.
Sure, yeah, no, because again, with the height of those, if plowing snow, it can build a mound around that would make it, more difficult
Yep.
for accessibility, because it will build up quicker in a bigger storm with the height of the block. So this was just some of the thoughts that had come up there in that conversation that I had with that gentleman in the back parking lot that day, and then I talked to you about it.
Yep.
I'll yield the floor to my colleagues if they have any questions, and we can just try to keep a due diligence on these boxes to make sure that people are able to utilize them properly so that
Absolutely.
they're not getting unnecessary tickets for, unjustifiable reasons. But I appreciate your help and appreciate you always being around to answer our questions. on
No
these
problem.
types of
Thank you.
issues.
I just have one question, but I know Councilor Della Sola has a couple. Has there been any difference in collection amounts since we moved from the old meter system? Whether a drop in revenue, pretty consistent, more
I
maybe?
mean, I don't have that information in front of me, but, I mean, I could certainly
If you
get
could send it out, that would be
I can certainly send
sufficient.
it out to you guys.
Thank you,
It's something we can easily get, so.
thank you. Councilor Della Sola?
Good evening. I have a few questions and maybe comments. On the maintenance, I know I tried to use one of these up towards High Street and in Broadway. The buttons are all worn out. Now, I don't use them much, but the buttons are worn out that I was even getting confused on where's the check and where's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
X and all that stuff. So that, to the point, I couldn't even use it. Then I went into the dentist on the corner and come out and my luck, I got a ticket. So that's how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I could certainly, have them look into that. I wouldn't think that, being about a year old, they'd be worn out already.
Yeah,
but
they would, the buttons
We
are
have a
worn.
pretty good warranty on them, so if, certainly if there's any issues with that, the company's gonna
Maybe I
work
was
with
doing it
us.
wrong. I couldn't get the credit card to slide in, slide out, so
Did you put it in the right way?
probably not.
Counselor
That's-
Delasola's
well, to
never
be
been
honest
good
with
with
you, 'cause-
following directions.
Yeah.
Because that's one of our biggest issues is we get calls all the time for, credit cards being stuck in the machine, and in most cases, I'd say 99% of them, they've been put in the incorrect
The wrong way.
which is why we have the sticker there that tells you which way to put it in.
I'm gonna try it tomorrow now.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Please do.
Let us know how you make out.
On the signs that you have over the machine where you pay.
Mhm.
So if you come up Broadway in front of City Hall and you pull up the park, you look up Broadway to try to find where you pay. Could we have the sign almost like a square? So the one faces the street and one faces up the sidewalk and down the sidewalk?
Yeah, I mean, we could certainly, put any signage.
I don't know how you can design that. It's just, if you park in a spot, if you don't see the sign that when you come up to your spot, look up the street, like Councilman McLaughlin said, 4 spots up,
Right,
the sign's facing Broadway, not facing where, once you're on the sidewalk looking up to pay.
okay. I mean, again, I'll go back to the DPW and the sign guys, and, we could certainly fix any issues we need to.
And last thing I was just thinking about, in the winter with the ice and snow and rain and all that, are the machines getting jammed up with the slush that's on it and the ice, that they can't use it, and then people complain about?
No,
Paying
they shouldn't be,
tickets?
because you're talking about like at the ground level? Like if we're laying salt down?
No, where you're actually pressing the buttons itself.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we haven't come across that. We haven't seen any issues on that. But certainly, the meter maintenance guy is a full-time job. That's his job. So he'll be going out, and if we do, have an issue with ice, he'll certainly be taking care of that. But
Last
I
question.
haven't come across that yet.
Last question I was thinking about, if somebody hit that with their car and we saw who hit it,
Mhm.
do we have to pay for the damage, or with the,
Well, it's on our insurance. They're covered by
It's
our
on our
insurance.
insurance.
Yeah.
and how much,
Obviously, we'd go after their insurance.
right, how much do they go for? Each?
Those models, I think, we got them through the MAPC's procurement. So we got a discounted price. I believe they were $7,000 apiece.
Okay,
So, I mean, I can get the exact number you want if you need it, but
okay.
they were one of the highly ranked vendors.
Yeah.
They were the highest ranked vendor through the MAPC's procurement, so, and they actually were just re-awarded another contract through the MAPC to supply those.
Okay. Thank you.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Mr. Chairman, just something that just popped into my head when Council Delasolo was talking about weather conditions and whether, you're standing out there and you're getting, going through the process of paying this meter and so forth. Have you seen any other cities or anybody else that may have built some sort of a
A shelter?
yeah, I don't want to call it a roof or
Yeah, probably
or
not.
overhead thing that, just,
They're all run by solar, so every one of the companies that we've seen, that we looked at, they're all solar powered. So these are
Okay.
all solar powered with backup batteries. So
Sure, makes
I don't
sense.
think that would be,
yeah, no, I hear you.
that would be
absolutely.
ideal.
I actually didn't realize they were all solar
Yeah.
powered, so it would not work. So that was just one of the thoughts I had. Is this the first winter we have these in the city, Mr. Bershi?
I believe we installed them late last winter.
Okay.
I think I'd have to check. I believe it was in like November of last year. So this is like, it's probably the second winter.
Yeah, then if we did it in November, this would be the second
Yeah.
winter. I mean, I don't think we're going to see snow this winter.
No, me neither.
Uh,
I don't either.
But I'd be interested to hear in the spring what the report was of how the condition went. So I don't know if there's a way to be able to track that, to just give us an idea of how the maintenance went throughout the winter. If it's extremely, successful, or if there's ongoing issues, we can look at it for next year. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we can grow off of and try to build a better system, because they are effective.
Yeah,
And they're
absolutely.
good. No question about it.
And they're aesthetically pleasing as well,
Yeah,
we
no.
don't have the poles and the meter heads and,
I agree. I
less
mean,
things for people to run into.
Boston and so forth, they're even doing it right on your phone, the
Yeah.
apps and all that stuff, right? And you don't even have those boxes any longer. You just go on your app and,
Yeah.
we're going in the right direction, no doubt.
Yeah,
about it.
absolutely.
Just want to try to work out the kinks and make sure that for the seniors in our community more so, they're used to dropping a quarter in the
Yeah,
meter and you go about your day. It's
Yep.
not like that any longer. So we want to make sure that we're staying on top of this to be able to help the seniors more so, to make it as less impactful as possible. to them.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
If no other questions, I will excuse with Mr. Chairman, you have a question?
I do not.
We'll excuse our guest with customary thanks, and thank you, Mr. Resch, for
Thank
coming
you.
up.
Thank you,
We'll
Mr.
talk about it
Mareshi.
again. Thank you.
What's your pleasure with the Peace Counselor?
Mr. Clerk, Mr. Chairman, at this time, we will refer this back to sponsor.
Second that?
Motion is made and seconded to recommend that this item be referred back to sponsor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 1, Mr. Clerk.
Item number one. Item number one is a resolution up by Council McKinnon that the city of Everett look into the feasibility of starting an internship program for all departments and to reach out to colleges, trade schools in the area to tap into the talent pool.
Mr. Chairman, Council McKinnon isn't here, but Mr. O'Donnell is here from the mayor's office. If we can ask him to come up to have a discussion.
Yeah, Mr. O'Donnell, if you'd like, feel free to discuss that handout that you gave us. But councilors, this item's been bounced around since early September, whereas the sponsor's not here. I recommend that we listen to what Mr. O'Donnell has and then perhaps refer it to the mayor's office to implement with their discretion. But that's at your will.
I almost even think we refer, I don't, we can do whatever we want. No problem at all. Well,
Right,
listen to
you
Mr. O'Donnell, maybe have a
Read the
couple questions.
information.
Mr.
on this
O'Donnell?
anyways.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Good evening. As you can see, I've had some experience with this with other agencies that I've worked as well, so I just compiled a quick bullet point list of basically of pros and cons. We're certainly in favor of programs like this, but we want to make sure how we fine tune it and, is it intended for mainly Everett residents? Because what I did run into at another agency for the summer work, for summer programs and internships, working through colleges, where it was a countywide agency, it was a little less impactful, but still, you ultimately ended up getting the calls from these colleges, hey, this is a great kid, but he's from Michigan, can we pop him in, things of that nature. So that's, those are some of the subtleties that I think we need to really fine tune. Through the Summer Works program, we also do, I know sometimes the common perception is that all these kids go to work and they go down to DPW and clean up parks and everything, but it's far more expansive than that. We have, each summer, we have students that are in planning and human resources and engineering and things. So it's kind of similar to that type. We match people with their skill sets and what their desires are. So we work on that. But we certainly are open to the idea and like to work together and implement and fine tune these things. So, in working in conjunction with the Human Resource Director and organizational assessment, I'm sure we could come up with something that's palatable.
Councilor McLaughlin?
Mr. Chairman, so just a clarification. So, Mr. O'Donnell, would this be a hired, paid intern, or is this a college student looking for credits for a particular program, and they might be going into finance, and so they're looking for an accountant office or something to that?
Right, and that part of the conversation I have not had with the sponsor, so those are, like I said, some of the things that we want to fine tune. Unpaid internships happen all the time at cities and corporations, all over the place, and that would be of a particular desire, because then we know that someone who wants to go into accounting we can place them right downstairs, and you have several levels of the organization down there that handles the finances that could they can kind of get a little taste of everything for a semester, and the mayor and the administration is all for particularly the college kids to if it's going to help their credits along, because then essentially it's a cost saving to the parents.
No question, and it's a huge benefit. And all joking aside, the mayor started his political career as an intern in city government.
Exactly, so that's why he has a special fondness for that.
Absolutely.
But you also have as you know, we're expanding the trade vocational education, and you have a lot of people there that could be interested in it, and probably could work in the wire department for a semester, or with the plumbing, or ISD, or
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
this is a worthy piece, especially this time right now of what's happening in the city with the casino opening and other businesses that are going to come into the city. Interns are really important. I mean, you know, Mr. LeBlanc,
Yeah.
from your previous experiences. I know, talking to Senator DiDomenico, he's had some tremendous interns in his office at the State House that have really brought some great ideas to the table and brought some real change to state government because of young, fresh ideas that are brought about.
Yeah, just as an example, one of my former interns at the sheriff's office is the deputy chief of staff in Bedford now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you know, and that's really, that's an important factor. So that's why I was just wondering if it's more paid or it's more for college credits and college, you know, for other things. Even some high school kids that are looking to get some extra credits. I think it's a worthy piece.
Well, in particular with the high school kids, yeah, they could have credits going in if they're choosing to go on to a secondary education,
Sure.
or the trades students that I think it does give them a step up,
Yeah.
you know, which whatever field that they're looking to go into.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know a lot about it, but I know like electricians particularly need X amount of hours.
Right.
you know,
Plumbers and other
The sooner
other
you get
trades.
them, the quality hours, the better, you know, the better person you're going to have entering the field, in my opinion.
I don't think gas workers need interns because they're not great, but, the points are really well taken on this page, and I'm looking forward to reading these bullet points. And I don't know if we should refer this to your office and allow you to work with the sponsor, or if we send this back to the sponsor to reintroduce in the new year, because tonight is essentially the last meeting for the current form, right? And then everything will die from here, and then it will go to a new session starting next month.
Well, my humble suggestion would be let us refer back to us, let us fine tune it with organizational assessment and human resources, and work with the sponsor on it. So, you know, maybe we can get a jump start on this.
So, through you, Mr. Chairman, can we keep, if we refer this to the mayor's office?
That's our
is this-
recommendation, and it goes to the regular meeting, but I think that would be the most prudent decision to make.
So it won't die though, correct? The piece
No.
won't die next Monday?
And even if it did, I have faith that the administration would still continue to work on the piece, whether it's on paper or not. Councilor Della Sola?
Good evening again. Are we working together with, I know myself and Councilman McLaughlin are part of a committee at Bedford High and Councilor Piero, working together with a committee up there on trades, and we're talking about a trade show in March, sometime in March, about just careers. So what it is if we're not working with them, is we have, let's say, 20 people in the committee. Everybody is in a trade that could help out the students graduating high school. Are we working together with them on that? Is that part of this? Or is it separate, but we're all working,
No,
obviously, for the
I
students?
believe that's separate, but it's all part of like the same common goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do we have, through you, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, Mr. O'Donnell, do we have any interns currently working, doing anything in the city of Everett today for, I know sometimes we bring college students in to work with the planning department, to say on the bike path or in that. Do we have any currently today in the city doing anything?
I would have to double check with Human Resources, but I know we currently do have someone in Human Resources, you know, as an intern. And yeah, every summer we have someone in like planning and traffic and engineering and yeah.
I think we've even had them down the police station doing some
Yeah.
analysis of information and data and so forth, and I know that, we've had them throughout planning and so forth, but I was just wondering if we had any college students today that were working in the city
We
somewhere.
have one that I'm certain of at the moment, but I mean, I could get that information if there's more. And we all, we always know where like I said, where we're placing them, because we have a lot of people have returned for 1 or 2 summers while they were in college, and we placed them in the same positions. And I mean, and there's always been some very impressive youth coming through the program. They are passionate and dedicated.
Yeah, no question,
Towards
absolutely.
learning the craft. So that's always an uplifting thing to see.
I mean, if you're taking,
Aside from the benefit to the city.
right, if you're taking the time to do it and be serious about it, actually, Councilman Piero did his insurance at the State House, right? If you're taking the time to be serious about it and go there every week voluntarily, even though you're getting credits for it, you know somebody is serious about it, and that is a benefit to the city or the organization that they're attending.
Exactly. The scale we've done it at, it's, like I said, it really is, I mean, heartwarming to see, like, at the end, when they're stepping off, to see how much they enjoy themselves in the input they have, and they have good ideas often as well, yeah.
At this time, Mr. Chairman, let's make a motion that we refer this to Mayor DeMaria's office, in particular, Chief of Staff O'Donnell, to work with the sponsor to clarify some of the areas that need to be clarified, and hopefully we'll see something in the near future to be able to get interns working throughout the community.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to refer this to the administration so they can fine tune it with the sponsor. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And Mr. O'Donnell, I know you briefly touched upon the Summer Works program. I want to thank the mayor, his administration, yourself, and all the community sponsors, because I know a strong effort is really put in place to hire just about every single applicant, as long as they're a good kid. So thank you for that.
No, thank you, yeah, we do make every effort to serve all the youths, and again, it's, you know, so successful. You don't have, you know, any issues. They're well supervised, but we don't have any issues, and it gives us a chance to get to know the younger people and get to know what they're about. I mean, I know I'm aging myself, but I feel like I'm getting old, so it is a breath of fresh air interacting with them and watching them, because you know, most of them have a far better work ethic than I had at that age. I have to be honest.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Item number 2, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 2 is a resolution by Councilor Michael McLaughlin that the property owners of the school administration of Pioneer Charter School on Plymouth Street appear at this meeting to discuss traffic issues in the neighborhood.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Mr. Chairman, do we have any correspondence from the owners at the Plymouth Street site?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Clerk.
Waiting to hear, just Mr. Mangan said he sent out the notice a while ago, so
So our legislative aide has
I don't know what meetings.
has indicated that the school's been unresponsive.
So, I'm just going to bring both of you, my colleagues, up to speed. I know that we talk about this often, but it is really causing a major issue down the village. The streets in the village are really getting hampered by this school. Councilor Capone and I spent some time down there in the last few weeks viewing some of the dismissals, and we're going to plan on viewing some of the drop-off sessions in the morning. And we really need to try to figure out a method that is going to work here, because the residents of the village, it's not fair that they are so negatively impacted. When I remember the charter school came here, they told us that they were going to use Bizarro Lane as an entrance and exit, that they would go around Sweetser Circle and come in the opposite side, and that would be their only entrance and exit to this school site. And that is not happening. I do think that they have done a decent job at trying to curb some of these issues, but we need to talk to the property owner. One of the biggest issues that we have right now is that there's a gate at the bottom of Alfred Court, I believe it's Alfred Court, that is causing a big problem. They're coming down Cross Street and into the dead-end street there, and they're
Yes, I witnessed that one day. When I was in the neighborhood with Representative McGonigal, I spoke to one of your constituents
yeah,
that told me the same thing.
And that's causing a big problem, because several cars have been hit from people going down the dead end there, and now you have to either back up or try to make a three-point turn to be able to get out of that dead end. We need a commitment from the property owners that they're going to close and lock that gate once and for all, so that that gate is no longer accessible. You know, they said, oh, it's convenient for the students. Well, let them walk 200 extra yards. You know, the exercise might be good for them. But it's a problem, and we need to get a commitment from these property owners, because the school doesn't seem to understand that this is something that needs to be addressed, and I was hoping to be able to have the property owners here.
I have a suggestion, Counselor. It's totally at your will, but you might be able to get more out of it, is if perhaps you work with the administration to set up a meeting and where the school is forced to come in and meet with yourself, a member of the mayor's administration,
Yep.
Possibly Councilor Capone. You might have more luck with that, whereas
Yep.
you know, they're forced to appear
Yeah,
and answer some questions instead of keep inviting them here and being
yeah,
shut
no,
down by
absolutely.
them.
I agree. I will talk to Mr. O'Donnell.
Could we have ISD go down there? Would that help us at all?
Because it's a
Down, it
clarification,
kinda-
it's a clarification of that it's a dead end, which is a private way. The private way should be owned by the residents. So
Exactly.
that it should actually not even be a legal access point, because the street is actually owned by the residents on a dead end. I mean, on a private way, excuse me. So I would like to see maybe ISD go down there and enforce the fact that that gate has to be locked. If that gate was to be locked, it would resolve a lot of the problems that are going on down there. Because the traffic department has done a good job. They've put a lot of do not enter signs on the back end of those streets, and we have taken measures, but this one particular gate is something of great concern and great issue to the neighborhood and the village. So I'm going to refer this back to sponsor. I'm going to take Councilor DePiero's idea, and I'm going to ask that we can, I'm going to talk to Mr. O'Donnell, see if we can set up a meeting to have them come up and invite some of my colleagues to, I had hoped to do this in this forum so that we could, do it as a group so that it wasn't just one or two councilors, but I'm definitely going to try to.
Whereas they haven't shown up and they've been shouting us out, I think you
I
might
agree.
have more
I agree,
luck
Counselor.
doing that.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'll refer this back to sponsor, and I will talk to Mr. O'Donnell. And Councilor Della Sola brings up a good point. I'd like to see if maybe ISD could go down in the meantime and force that gate to be locked. And that might be something that they can do. I'll call ISD Jim Soper tomorrow and see if he can enforce that. But that is also a good point, is to have code enforcement go down there.
They went down there on a Monday, tell them to go into the school, talk to them. They close the gate, go back Thursday and double check if it's open again, then we get an issue.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that on Monday morning. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the advice, and I will keep you guys in the loop, as well as I know that we've talked about this, all three of us, and it's definitely a concern to all of us up here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Refer this back to sponsor at this time.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to recommend that the piece be referred back to sponsor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made and seconded for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.